Hey guys, in this session let us learn about how to specify passwords in shell script. Whenever we specify passwords anywhere, not only in shell script, we need to consider certain things, right? We need to consider security as a first preference, right? We don't need to expose our passwords to some other person, so that may cause some vulnerabilities in our database, right? It may also cause misuse of the databases. Second thing is repetition. Passwords can be changed frequently, right, based on a particular time period or retention. So when the password is changed for a particular user over the period of time, and if you write a shell script with a particular password inside it, then that may cause a lot of efforts for the DBA to change the password in the shell script, right? Say for example, if I have a password as 1 for my user today, and after 10 days I need to change my password to 2, and if I use this password in my shell script, again the next time when the password is changed, I need to update my password in the shell script, right? So likewise, for every 10 days if you are changing the password, the DBA has to put in some efforts to change the password in a shell script, right? And the third thing is commonality. The password should be used in a shell script for multiple databases, right? In this case, if you are specifying password of one user for one database, that password may not be same for all the databases, right? So in those cases, the task may be somewhat complex, right? So let us deal with the password. Let me write a shell script called db status .sh. Let me export Oracle SID, Oracle Home, and path, LD library path, so let me check the environment variable in some script so that I can copy and paste the same. Yeah. So instead of writing all these stuffs, I'll just copy and paste it. Now I have set the environment variable for the database. Once we set, we have to invoke SQL Plus to check the status of database, right? So I'm not going to use / as sysdba. I'm going to use some user, system user. Okay. Before that, let me change the password for system user. So password is my password for system user. In real time, you may set some complex password for system user with some uppercase letters and symbols, numbers combined. Okay. Now let me write some SQL queries. So anyway, let me test if this SQL query work. So I have some missing expressions. I need to correct that. So it should be a space over here. Yeah, now it looks good. Now I will remove this line and paste this SQL. So likewise, you can directly test the queries in SQL Plus and then you can paste it in the shell script. Now let me check the data files in DBA data files. Yeah, this looks good. Now let me add this line. Now let me check archived logs. So I need to check log mode and status. So there is no log mode column under VDollar archived log. So I need to check the status. Okay, status is not looking good. Okay, so it is just a short form. So we need to use some other column. Okay, let me check VDollar log. Yeah, this looks good. Let us check the control files. So here control file status is not printed. So we can only print the number of control files and say in the database. So I'm just giving you an example of how to create a shell script with the help of SQL plus queries to check each and every status of the database files, control files, and the read log files. Okay. So we have to join log mode with archive log. Okay, so we don't need to specify any complex queries. Okay, we'll just specify only the archive log status for now. So we can add as many as queries and details as we need based on the requirement. Okay, but as of now we can just specify these basic status. So once we specify all these details, we have to exit, right? So I need to give permission so one of the query is having issues, so I need to specify this backslash so that this dollar is not interpreted as a shell variable. Okay. Also, it is very important to specify exit whenever we connect to SQL Plus. Otherwise, the shell will be executed, and once the SQL Plus is connected, it has to exit. If you don't specify exit, it will get stuck in SQL Plus itself. Okay, so that is why it is always important to specify exit. So let me show you how it happens. So this time it has executed and it has exited, but sometimes it gets stuck. Okay. So now we have specified the password for system, right? If some other DBA or some other person is having access to this server, and if he is able to view this script, then what he can do, he can directly see the password inside this shell script, right? And you can also misuse the password, right? And one more thing is, you will be able to see the password directly under ps-ef grep SQL Plus. Let me open a new session. So if I execute this script, now I'm not able to see the particular SQL Plus under PS, but if the script is taking long time, okay, so let me use something like this. Now you can see that there is a SQL Plus process which is printed in my command line. It has not printed the password or the username in this process, but let me modify the script. Even now you are not able to see the password and the username, but sometimes the username and password will be directly printed in the process itself. Okay, so I'm not able to see the username and password, but it is always recommended to not directly use the password inside the shell script. Okay, so this is also one of the reasons. Currently I'm not able to see the password in the process command. Okay, so that's why what we can do is we can use user input to prompt the password in the command line. Like this. How you will prompt the password? Using read command. Okay. So this read command takes an input which is specified by the user. Okay, and it will prompt the user to enter either a password or any text. Okay, say for example, if I am entering password as my password for system user, this read command stores the data in a variable, and that variable can be used anywhere in the script wherever we require password. So here I have used pass as the variable. Okay, if I am specifying password as my password for system user, this password will be stored under this pass variable, and I can specify $pass so that my password will not be exposed to anyone. Right? The shell will internally convert this password and it will store it in the pass variable. Okay. Now let us see how this works. So instead of specifying my password, I'll just say $pass. That's it. Okay. So here, if someone else see the script, they may think that $pass is the password, but in reality, $pass is a variable. Right? The original password is stored inside this variable, so the user cannot get the original password. Now if I execute this script, it will prompt to enter the password. I will enter the password as password itself. So yeah, actually it waits for some time to execute all these SQL queries, so that is why it is taking time. Now what the shell script does is, once I entered password, this password is stored in pass variable, and that pass variable was substituted in my SQL Plus command line, and I specify username as system and password as $pass, and post that all these scripts are executed, and you got a beautiful output of the database status. Okay, so there is a limitation in specifying the password in command line also. Why? Because whenever you write a shell script, it is not just for interactive purpose, right? So if you are writing a shell script for some nightly jobs, or to check the status during the night time, and if you are not available, you cannot specify the password every time in the command line, right? So this is some kind of interactive approach. You have to specify the password in the command line, otherwise it will wait for the user to enter the password for a long time, right? So to overcome this limitation, we can see some different approach in the next session.